Hi there, power players. Welcome to the T-shirt transfer paper power half hour, brought to you by all the hardworking folks here at Conde Systems Incorporated. My name is Doug DeWitt, transfer paper product manager here at Conde Systems, host of the show. Welcome aboard. Directing the show today with his fingers on the camera controls and the history eraser button is our good friend Rodeo Bo. And Rodeo, we got a great show for everyone today. I know that this show is dedicated to decorating t-shirts, but we're going to take a slight detour today. We are going to decorate pants instead. Specifically, how to decorate sweatpants with white toner printing. It's going to be an awesome show. I hope you guys are ready to learn something today. But before we can do that, what do we have to do, Rodeo Bo?
Pay the power bill.
We got to pay the power bill. And first up on the power bill is our April promotion, Get Your Spring Sprung. Make sure to click the banner on our website to find out all the information about this special. Orders over $75 can download a free art pack. And of course, orders over $200 get free Conde ground delivery. Some restrictions apply. Contact your account manager if you need more details. But remember, our Get Your Spring Sprung sale going on now on Dytrans.com. And another event that we have coming up, Rodeo Bo, there is going to be another virtual Sublimation Summit hosted by Cheryl Kuchik. That Sublimation Summit is going to take place virtually May 24th through the 26th. I will be presenting a class at the virtual Sublimation Summit entitled 10 Secrets to Successful White Toner Printing. So if you want to know what those secrets are, register for the virtual Sublimation Summit coming up at the end of May. We're going to have information on our website real soon so that you can click on that information and register for the virtual Sublimation Summit. And of course, we've got a new quarterly gallery contest going on. This is the Store Shenanigans. Bo, shake your head in agreement. Bo shakes his head in agreement. He's saying no. What is it called? Store Shenanigans. It says right there on my sheet, Bo. We had it right the first time. But basically what this contest is you snapping a photo of your customers with their sublimated item. And of course, like all quarterly contests, the best photo wins. So make sure to submit your photo. You could win Conde credit up to, I believe it's $400, Bo? It's a lot of Conde credit, so yeah, make sure it doesn't cost you anything to enter, so go ahead and do it. And I think that's going to take care of the power bill, Bo. So let's go ahead and get started with decorating sweatpants for using white toner printing process. Why would we want to do it? Well, in our post-COVID-19 world, which COVID is still running around, obviously, Americans have adapted a much more casual approach to how they dress, especially if you're working from home. Even these days, what I would call casual clothing, such as sweatpants or joggers, are pretty much universally accepted. Our own graphic designer here, Zach Smith, who gave me the idea for this particular show, he told me that joggers are the jeans of the future. So we're going to go ahead and roll with that principle today. What are we going to need in order to decorate these sweatpants? Well, first off, you got to have a white toner printer. And for this demonstration, I've used my Crio 8432 WDT white toner printer, and I am going to use FOREVER Low Temp Laser Dark. And the reason I'm going with the Low Temp Laser Dark to attempt to decorate sweatpants is because with the Low Temp Laser Dark, we could work with any material. It could be 100% cotton, it could be a cotton poly blend, it could be 100% polyester. We're also going to need either our gloss or matte silicone sheets in order to set the designs onto our sweatshirts, our sweatpants. There's going to be a few other things that we're going to need to use. We're going to need a good, reliable commercial heat press. And for this demonstration today, I'm using my handy dandy George Knight DK20S heat press. I never go anywhere without it. We also might need some heat tape depending on some of the designs that we're going to do, and I'm going to show you why in a second. And of course, we're probably going to need some protective paper and a good pair of scissors. So let's go ahead and get started. You know, why we want to decorate sweatpants? Well, the first example we're going to demonstrate is to market to schools, such as elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, community colleges, any organizations that have a small number of members, but yet they want to basically arrive in style. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a mock-up for the St. Dominic's tennis team. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and grab my first pair of sweatpants or joggers. Now, these are Eddie Bauer brand. I got them from a local big box store. Looking at the material content, we have got 58% cotton and 42% polyester. So this is going to be a cotton poly blend. So let me go ahead and open my DK20S heat press. Maybe next time, not taking out the SG500 we have on the table. I'm just going to move that over a little bit, Rodeo Bo, so that I can swing out the arm here. Okay.
I was looking for that earlier.
Yeah, I got to make sure not to bang around the old Sawgrass SG500, otherwise I'm taking it home with me. All right, so basically at this point, let me figure out what side I want to do, but I'm going to go ahead and lay out the material and basically try to not catch any of the pocket or the seams so that I could keep it relatively flat. I'm going to use a piece of protective paper and I'm going to give the material a pre-press for about 10 to 15 seconds. We want to make sure that we are working with dry material, that there's no moisture within the fabric. That should be good there. All right, and it flattens out our area, gives us a nice smooth area to work with. I'm going to use my sticky lint roller to remove some of the contaminants off, and let me go ahead and show you what I plan to do. I'm going to put the St. Dominic Eagle on one side, and I've got my St. Dominic's tennis with the little tennis racket logos here. Now, when I was putting this particular design together, just to give you an idea, of course I'm using two different sheets. The advent, where that comes into play, so to speak, is when it comes to the larger graphic, which is the eagle head, I went ahead and micro-masked that, which is basically putting the pinhole distress pattern in, and that's what is going to give the design its flexibility. But when it comes to the lettering, I don't really need to employ any type of mask for the lettering. So when I sent the lettering through, I basically sent it like I was screening from my printer. So the nice thing about this is, the lettering will be intact. The lettering this size really doesn't need to be screened. So the lettering will appear intact and we'll only have the eagle head that has the distress to it, but it should work out just fine. Let me go ahead and grab my tennis racket logo, Rodeo. And I'm doing a little bit of excess trim around this just to make sure there's no white edging from the B sheet on this. Pardon me. So let me go ahead and lay out my graphics, so to speak. I'll put down my St. Dominic's. So basically go ahead and line up my three graphics. Cover with a piece of protective paper. And I'm going to swing the heat press over. And as far as the temperature range is concerned, understand that with the Forever Low Temp product, we can go as low as 240 degrees Fahrenheit if we're going on to 100% polyester. We can go as high as 330 degrees Fahrenheit if we're going to 100% cotton. Since this is a cotton poly blend, I'm at about 300 degrees. Now, the difference between this and a t-shirt is normally with a t-shirt I would only press for about 30 seconds. But with this sweatpant material, I'm going 45 seconds, and the reason I'm doing that is to give that emulsion a little bit of extra time to settle into the stitch pattern on something like sweatpant material. Timer means we're done. So there is that side. I'm going to decorate the other side just for fun. Basically using the same technique. Try to keep the pockets and most of the seams off so we get a flat press area. Give it a quick lint roll. Cover with my protective paper. Remember, pre-press, about 10 to 15 seconds when we're dealing with a sweatshirt or sweatpant material. It is going to be a little thicker. They do have a tendency to retain moisture more than, let's say, like a standard t-shirt. Pardon me. Let's remove our protective paper. And let me grab their mascot here, which just happens to be a golden eagle. So I will trim off my design here. And like I said, when it comes to this, I've got 6 designs basically ganged up over 2 sheets. So as far as the printing cost overall on the 2 sheets, came out to about around $10 when you factor in the cost of the transfers and the cost of the toner. But since we're doing 6 of these, basically brings that cost per print down to about $1.60, $1.70 per sweatpant. Go ahead and place my logo. Hopefully I've got that lined up right. If not, this is for demonstration purposes only. But you get the gist. Basically, a few dollar pair of blank joggers that I got from a local big box store, investing about $1.60, $1.70 into a couple of transfers. And now I've got a super cool warm-up for the members of the St. Dominic's tennis team. Pardon me while I enjoy a cold beverage. Because like I said, we're going 45 seconds on the press, not the normal 30 seconds you would normally associate with a t-shirt. Why? Because we're dealing with a thicker material. Okay, and our timer is almost up here. Okay. So now we need to let this cool off before we remove the design. But as you can see, some pretty kicking joggers for the St. Dominic's tennis team. And the cool part about a design like this is, even if you have a A-size white toner system, like an Oki 711WT or one of the eye-color units, you can still knock out jobs like these all day. And like I said, relatively low buy-in, but very high perceived value. So if you're not decorating joggers or sweatpants, you need to get in the game. All right, so we're going to let that design cool down, Rodeo Bow, and we're going to go on to our next one. Now, this here, it's not a solid color. We got a lot more, I guess, what do you call, like, different makeup of colors in there. There is some gray, there is some blue, there's some white, there's some black. And it feels like it's a little bit heavier. Let me double check this material content again, Rodeo Bow, because we should always check the material content before we get started. Okay, 58% cotton, 42% polyester. We're going to be good to go. What I'm going to do here with this one is I'm going to start at the bottom of the pants leg and work my way up. So let me get this as flat as I can. Take my sticky lint roller, get all the surface contaminants off. Remember to give the material about 10 to 15 seconds of pre-press, okay? You want to make sure the material is dry before you attempt to put your transfers down. There we go. All right, and let's see if we can attempt to decorate our next sweatshirt. I'm going to dub this one, I Fought Piranhas. Okay, so basically what I have is I took a graphic of a piranha and essentially ganged it up on an 11-inch by 17-inch sheet. As far as these designs are concerned, basically came out to $4.65 when you combine the paper and the toner. But what we're going to do here is we are going to decorate up and down the pants leg with our multiple designs here. And like I said, the cool part about this, you know, kind of like the previous example, you don't necessarily need a big format white toner printer in order to do this. You just have to have a little bit of patience and a little bit of time. But what's great about offering decorated sweatpants or joggers is you can get enough of a retail price to compensate you for the little bit of extra time it takes to create the design. So let me go ahead and chop up a few more here. Okay. Now this sheet, the only difference is I've got the piranha swimming in the opposite direction. So let me get a few of these prepped real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Just bear with me. And what we're going to do is we're going to apply these in a random pattern. So in order to do that, Rodeo, let me get some random going. All right. And now what we're going to do is just start putting them on the pants leg, swim in all different directions. We could put some upside down, right side up. Really doesn't matter. But we'll get enough on there. Cover. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press these for about 15 to 20 seconds. I'm just really trying to set them, so to speak, so that I can move on to the next section and start putting down more. Bear with me. All right, that's 20 seconds right there. So let's stretch out the pants. Give this section a pre-press. Now with this technique, there are probably going to be a few transfers in particular that may get pressed 2 times, 3 times, but since we're not going the full time and since we're still leaving the film on, the design should be safe. Rodeo, you know what this sweatpant needs? More piranhas. Did you fight piranhas? Did you fight the cold? All right. Got some more down. Let me go ahead and get this section. Again, we're going in about 15 to 20 second increments just to set. Then you just start working on the next pants leg, keep going, so to speak. Alrighty. So, I got all the piranha running down the pants leg here. Again, we're going to set this aside, let it cool. We'll show you the finished result in a second. But I want to show you one other that I want to tackle. And this is a different manufacturer here. So let me just check the label real quick. What is our material content? Looks like we got cotton, polyester, and a little bit of spandex. That is a good key, because if we do have a little bit of spandex, I'm probably going to want to drop my temperature. So I'm going to go ahead and reset my press for 275 as opposed to 300. Let me remove the XL sticker on this. And let me go ahead, figure out which leg I want to decorate. Because this, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the coup de grace, so to speak. Instead of decorating with a bunch of small designs, we're going to try to put one big design running down the pants leg here. So let me get this flattened out. Let me take the lint roller to it. Cover it with my protective paper. And give it my pre-press. And let me grab my last design here. Basically what I have is the design done with IC Split software. So we took a big graphic and chopped it into two 11 by 17 pieces using the IC Split. Now, if you're not familiar with IC Split, don't worry. We did a couple of episodes of IC Split in former TTPPHH episodes. Just go to our playlist on YouTube and look them up in case you need to do a little bit more research. But basically what IC Split does is it splits the graphic, but does it in a jigsaw pattern, so that when we reassemble the graphic, we've got one solid graphic and you can't see the split line. Well, maybe you could see it if you severely misalign the print, but we are going to try our best not to, Rodeo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim away the excess material. And let's go ahead and put the top half of our design down. I'll remove that protective paper. Go ahead and line up the first part of the design where I want it to appear. Cover it with a protective sheet. And again, I'm only going to press it for about 15 to 20 seconds. And this is basically just to set the first design. But since we're butting one design up against another, we're going to have to remove the film in order to line up the second part of our design. So that's about 20 seconds there, Rodeo. Let me pull the jogger off. Let me get it onto the table here. And what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to use a piece of our textured aluminum to rapidly cool the design. That's sticky, Rodeo. Did you guys get Pro Spray all over it? All right. So there is the first half down. Put it back down. All right. Can everyone see that? There we go. Now let's get the second half of the design. Again, the trick is just positioning. Let me go ahead and reassemble my mermaid. And like I said, the cool part about this process is lining up there we go. Now, since I do have a little bit of that exposed design uncovered, take your non-stick silicone sheet, use that to protect, put your protective paper over, and this time I'm pressing the second part at 275 degrees for about 20 to 25 seconds. Like I said, I have to go a little bit longer than normal because of that sweatpant material. But once I take this out of the press rodeo, I'm going to put the previous sweatpants on the table here. We'll see how they turned out. Okay. All right, so there's the second half of my design. And like I said, I'm going to set this aside and let it cool. And while we're doing that, let's see if our other ones turned out. Okay. I think those turned out pretty well. So like I said, if this were a paying job, what we would want to do is we want to put the pants back on the press, cover with our silicone sheet, and hit it with another 30 seconds of 275 to 300 Fahrenheit, medium pressure, just to make sure that emulsion gets set into that sweatpant material. Okay. I'm going to do the other side real quick. Silicone sheet. Press. I'll get this one ready to go next, rodeo. All right. So there's example one. Lay that back down for everyone to see. We got a good shot of that, rodeo bow? Fantastic. Has a nice soft feel because of the micromass pattern. The silicone sheet helps with that. All right. So here are all my little individual piranhas. All we got to do is just pop these off one at a time. Like I said, doesn't really cost a lot to do, just maybe a bit more labor intensive. But then again, products like these, high perceived value, therefore high profit. And again, what we would want to do to make sure these are set, let's cover with our silicone sheet. Do your finishing press with your silicone sheet. Now remember, you could go with a matte silicone sheet and it'll take the shine out of that design. It'll make it a little softer. You could go with a gloss finishing sheet, which will keep the shine. But you definitely want to do this finishing press step whenever you're dealing with a thick material like a sweatshirt or sweatpant material. And then now we just kind of move down the pants leg, so to speak. Let's do our repress. And while that one is going, we'll lay out the mermaid here. Okay. And I'm going to lay these down, Rodeo. So check that out. And again, we could keep going with the other pants leg, the top, the back, all the way down. Okay. Now this one hopefully has cooled enough. Like I said, using splitting software, you get that nice seamless transition. That looks cool. But remember, we got to set it. So let me get it back on the press. Trying to figure out a way where I could set this with one press, maybe by running the pant leg diagonally here. Let's give it a shot, Rodeo. Need one more protective sheet. There. And again, we have to do the finishing press. It could be a matte sheet, it could be a gloss sheet, but you're going to definitely want to do that finishing press. But once you have the garment complete, as far as washing instructions are concerned, the only thing that I would suggest is turn the jogger inside out, wash it cold or warm water, tumble dry under low heat. Do not use liquid fabric softener in the wash cycle. Other than that, you should be good to go. Let's see how this looks, Rodeo. Now with this design, I screened it for a white shirt, but that looks pretty boss. Okay, and the cool part about this is we basically have a 22-inch graphic running down the pant leg. And of course, if I was a better designer, we could have probably run it all the way down to the ankle. But as you can see, decorating sweatpants or joggers really isn't that much more difficult than decorating a t-shirt with your white toner printing. All you might have to do is be mindful of your press temperature, and you may have to increase the dwell time an extra 10 to 15 seconds in order to make sure that your image sets into that thicker sweatshirt material. And why do we want to do it? Like I said, because essentially joggers are the jeans of the future. So grab some from your local supply store, print out a few transfers, start practicing. If you offer this to your clients, believe me, they will buy. Why? Because it's that high perceived value. It takes a little bit of extra work, but you can make a lot of profit by introducing sweatpants or joggers into your lineup. Remember, we went with the Forever Laser Dark Low Temp because it really didn't matter what the material content was. We could work with all of them with that particular paper product. And most of the designs that we demonstrated today, you could do with a standard platform printer. If you do need to get fancy and decorate the entire leg, like I said, you might want to look into a program like IC Split. If you're a Forever Transfer Rip user, there is a way to split a design in Digital Factory 10. Make sure you check out the Tuesday classes that Crio offers. Go to mycrio.com and register, and they've got all sorts of classes on maximizing the Digital Factory 10 that comes with the Crio 8432. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy the show today. This kind of concludes our time. Remember to like, comment, and share both on Facebook and YouTube. If you've got anyone in the industry whom you may think would benefit from this, send them a link, let them know. Also, if you have any questions about the procedure we covered, just shoot a message to our inbox, TTPPHH@Conde.com. And remember, we're going to tune in 2 weeks. We're going to do the T-shirt transfer paper power half hour all over again. Now, remember how I was giving you the cost breakdowns on what it took to produce these transfers? How do I get that information? It's available within your RIP program, and I'm going to show you how in 2 weeks when we cover calculating cost with your white toner system. That episode is going to air Tuesday, May 3rd, 3:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So make sure to tune in exactly 2 weeks for another exciting episode of the T-shirt Transfer Paper Power Half Hour. Until then, I'm Doug DeWitt, Transfer Paper Product Manager here at Conde Systems. Our time is up, and we thank you for yours.